Right, we've got a jigsaw today, a Milwaukee Fuel. This is the M12 version. It's got a snapped frame, so this is the new frame here. Very long lead time on this. It took about 2 months to arrive, actually, annoyingly. I've got 2 of these, so I'm going to do one as a full length like this. I'm going to do another one as a short, see if I can get it into that. But there's loads and loads of parts to this. It really is a jigsaw of a jigsaw. I've already put the shoe partly together here as well. There's just a load of screws that we're missing that I've ordered as well, so I'll put those in, get the shoe built first, and then what we'll do is we'll get the jigsaw open. I've not done this before, so it's the first time. That's why I've got the drawings at the top there, the screen. So many parts, as I say. There are no instructions, as you like, but there is a drawing, so it's quite open to interpretation how this stuff goes. But I'm going to try my best. So I'll get this one in, and there's a few more to whack in as well, and that's really the shoe made up. And then right at the end there'll be a mechanism of connecting that to the jigsaw, and we'll work that one out when we get there. So these drawings really just give you the parts. They give you a very rough idea of where they go together. Obviously this bit's easy, it's just screws in the base here. We'll get these in, and then we'll carry on. So I got 2 of these from eBay, oddly, as a pair for £5.90. So when I saw them, I was a bit shocked, very shocked that I won it for that price as well, because they're both Milwaukee Fuels, really good tools, both work as well. So just shocked really. But this was the frame that was snapped, and I realised afterwards these frames are £75 each. So that's the reason they were really sold so cheaply. Just glad it wasn't anything with electrical as well, so that would have been very expensive and not really worth repairing. But even the £75 and the £5, if you like, this is still definitely worth it. It's almost a brand new tool really. It's not really seeing much use. Not sure how it was snapped, but I've got 2, and I've certainly seen others that are for sale at the moment with the same problem, so I'm not sure if other people have seen this or you're getting the same problems. But it's quite strange to see 3 of them snap in exactly the same place. So that's the shoe made up. So we'll come back to that one at the end when we've got all of this done. Right, so we'll crack on. So I say this is the first time I've done it, so please bear with me as I go. We'll work it out. So going for the manual option on the screws today, and we'll skip a load just to save a bit of time here. Alright, so this is the last one, and we'll get this open, see what's inside. So they do have this little clip. There's a few who have this clip actually, a lot of the M12 type tools, so some of the little impact drivers and things like that, they all seem to have that. We'll take that off, it's the last thing holding it together, and then we'll crack this open. Hopefully. So it's nice and tight, which is good. Keeps everything together, less vibration, all that stuff. But let's work it open. There we go. It's coming apart. So I'd hope it'd all just sort of fall nicely on one side, but it hasn't. It's kind of mixed across 2. So I'll have to be very careful here I don't damage anything. It's probably the way I opened it. I'll try and separate it out just so I can get this open, and then I can separate the parts out into one side hopefully. There we go. That's it. So you can see there's not much to it actually. It's a lot of the basics that you get in all tools really. Nothing fancy and new. There we go. Right, so what we'll do is we'll separate this out, just because I don't like it sitting like this across two. It's putting strain on the cables. So we'll try and get this wedged out so we can reduce that strain. I need to get the field out really there so I can separate them. So we'll pull this up and I can get that out then. Separate it from the armature. Come on. There we go. So, rookie mistake and a good one to know. Turn that fan across and that comes out. It kind of holds it in place. Right, you can see really where the old one snapped, you see all the metal filings there, so who knows what they were doing to do that, if it was actually cutting metal or if that's somehow from the damage there. But that's in the past, so let's get this field off. That's it, and we can separate all this out and we can just concentrate on changing this frame. Okay, looks simple, but it's not going to be simple, is it? So we've got to try and work out how it all comes apart. Remember where it goes, grease it up, all of that stuff. There's bound to be some tiny little circlips on here as well. Right. So let's get pulling this stuff off. So there's a small little notch on the front. We'll get that off. Not held in by anything, which is good. This circlip, I did cut this down because it was really annoying. It took me around 10 minutes to actually get this off. So I've just showed you the end here to make it look easy, but it really wasn't easy. Didn't have the right tool to do this. It needed really, really small set of circlip pliers, if you like, to get that. So in the end I had to use 2 small screwdrivers and just try and get the right angle. So we'll get those off. There's a gear and a washer there. We'll get this plate off as well. Trying to line them all up so I don't forget which order they go and where they go. This is the new one, so really just having a look here how it's all going to fit together as I'm going. There is, where it's green in the middle on the left, that's the bearing, so conscious that I'm going to have to knock something into that bearing at some point and obviously remove something from the one on the right. So let's get all these plates off, just expose that and then work out what we're doing next. There's a small little fabric cloth at the top there as well. So that's all the parts out. And then we can now work out what's next. So I'll get my grease ready, get some grease on the new frame so we can start moving parts across. There's a few different types of grease, so yeah, don't worry that the colour's different. Doesn't mean this is old or anything like that, it's just a different type of grease. The clear stuff does look nicer though, or even the red stuff, but yeah, not for this. Right, so we'll get that out of the way. It's dirty. You can see here I'm slowly getting messier, all the grease everywhere, even resulted to a glove. So we'll get that little final washer off there, off the old one, pop it on the new one. And now we can work out how we're going to get the armature off and out of that bearing. So I have got a little release clamp that I use to push bearings out, so that'll be the next thing. But we'll try and build this up as much as we can, everything in that'll go in at this point. And we'll get some of this out of the way, make a little bit of room. It's a bit of a test fit. That's obviously the wrong way around, so it's good to just work out exactly where things go. Try and remember. There we go. Good thing about this is I'm recording it as well, so anything I forget, I just go back. But that's all quite simple, really. The obvious thing here is the armature isn't in yet, but I'm just doing a bit of a test fit here, just to get my head around how it's going to sit, which bits go where. So take that out, because obviously it's not going to sit like that. Right, so let's focus on the next bit. So in the middle there is another circlip, but it's quite a standard one, so I can just use these to get that out. There we go, simple that one. And then now we need to get that out of the bearing. So got a fairly smallish bearing removal tool here. Luckily there's something for it to grab onto as well on the sides. So we'll get this in the top of the armature. It did make a bit of a noise as I was going, actually. I was a bit worried at one point, but it didn't cause any damage, luckily. There must be a better way to do this, but this is the simplest that works here. So we managed to get that out just using that standard method, really. And there's the armature in the middle. Let's have a bit of a clean up as much as we can, really. I don't really want any grease, if I can help it, going in the back of that armature. Just trying to keep the work area tidy. And my hands. Right, so let's get on to the next bit. So to get this in, I've got a bit of a jig on my other workbench. So what I'll do is I'll fit it here just to show you. But really it's the compression will take place just off camera on a different workbench. This needs to sit far enough in that it starts to show the area for the retaining clip to clip into. So that obviously won't go in and it's not sat flush. It's got to go probably a good centimetre further than that. So we'll get it lined up so that when we start putting pressure on it we don't damage it. If it was off angle it would start breaking things potentially there. So that's how I want it to sit. I've just got to get now the pressure on top of it to force it in. Okay, there's one I made earlier. A little bit of a cut there. So get the clip back on. So that's the retaining clip, keeps it in place. It is very much in there though with pressure, so not sure this would come out anyway, but just for that retaining clip, just to make sure. Get that in there. There we go. Fits nice and snug. So it didn't damage it when it came out, which is good. So now we've got to start building this up, putting the different parts on and try and get it back together. So there's a small washer at the bottom there. Okay, and then this back plate, try and get that the right way around. There we go. And then this larger plate goes on top of that one. And the gears then move around on top of this. There we go. So this next bit's a little bit fiddly. You see on the back of that there's sort of two different shapes on it. So I've got to try and get it in there and then get it all the way to the back as well so that I can get that other smaller retaining clip on top. So I get the washer on that main bit there, and then we've just got to try and fiddle this one in, if you like, to get it all the way back. You can't be too rough with these because you can damage the teeth, so it really is just doing it slowly, in and out a few times, just making sure it's in without any pressure. So the gears should all just fit together nicely. Almost there. There we go, that pushed right back. Okay, so a bit of relief there, we're in. So we need to get this small clip on top then. So annoyingly I don't have the right tool for this, but the screwdriver seems to do the job at the minute. That's another thing added to the list to buy. So I have got another one of these, so hopefully I can use it on that and it'll be much easier. Right, let's get this clip in. We're almost there actually now, so it's just a case of greasing this up, getting it back together, and then checking I haven't broken anything. Okay, so get that small one on the top there. There we go. You'll see when that goes in the frame actually that fits into like a metal socket on the front that moves up and down and turns that round. I'm sure there's a more technical way to describe that, but that's what it does. So we'll grease this up, a little bit of grease on the gears here, on the teeth. I'll give it a good turn in a minute, get it right in there. It is messy this, yeah. Normally wear gloves, but trying not to here because everything I touch just gets really, really greasy and annoying. So I've got a load of other wipes down the side as well. So blue roll and wipes, trying to keep myself as clean as I can here because I'm trying not to contaminate other bits, if you like, as I'm going. So I'll just give that armature a bit of a wipe because there are some small metal filings it's picked up actually from my bench here has been going, but also a little bit of grease. So just trying to clean up that as much as I can. I don't want to start allowing it to get damaged as it spins. Right, so that's that. So now I'm just going to do a bit of a test. Where does this actually go? So when we opened it, if you remember at the beginning, it was a really weird angle, couldn't really see anything. So this looks fairly obvious how that sits, and it fits in there nicely, which is good. So again, another quick clean just so I don't contaminate stuff, and then we'll get this in properly. So looks a bit of a car crash, doesn't it? So let's have a go at just tidying it up, trying to get things where they would fit. So we've got the controller board there basically, and the field. We've just got to make sure these are in whatever sockets are designed for them. Get the fuse in there as well. So what I don't want to do is mess around at the end trying to get this thing to close. When if you do all the work up front, on the field there as well, you'll see the little indents, and they're designed really to fit into the case at different angles. So if you get those the right way, and this way where my thumb is, there's a indent there, and that fits into the opposing side case, so that has to stay upright. Right, so we're ready here, ready to start fitting this. So all greased up, ready to go. So let's see how we can get this in. So at the front there is, you see the metal bit sticking out. It's got to fit into a sort of a circular type thing at the front, and of course it's got to go into the field or it won't work. So just a test fit, got it in both sides, there we go. So then you've just got to manoeuvre this really, making sure it sits flush. So I actually spent quite a lot of time on this bit. Again, I try and make it look easy by cutting bits out, but this would have taken me again another 5 or 10 minutes just getting this bit in here. The bolt that I'm pushing it through at the bottom there isn't actually all the way in at this point, and I come back to that later and push it right the way through. You see actually there it wasn't quite attached, and I then try and get this thing closed annoyingly, but this one I've cut some of that annoyance out, but just to show you, it doesn't always go perfectly. So that all looks like it fits, all looks good. everything's where it should be, say apart from that pin, but don't worry about that. So let's get the case on, just to double check on the drawing, is there anything I've missed? This little cover actually goes on at the end. I'm just doing a bit of a test here, just in case, because I don't want to get this thing screwed together and realise it goes on the inside. But it doesn't, it goes on the outside, so that's fine. So just to make sure everything fits. The power connector's weird on this one, it just sort of floats around, which is strange, but when they're clamped together it does catch it. Alright, so let's get it back together and then we'll test if anything's been damaged during that process. Okay. So there is a bit of a hammer there at the top that's in the wrong place still. So the top right of the jigsaw really, there's a, I don't know if you can see the metal bit sticking out, but I need to adjust that. This doesn't go on because it's not in the right hole. There's lots and lots of fiddly bits on this, but it's not going to fit because it doesn't line up at the minute. So I'll mess around with the power connector a bit, but also then we just need to move the metal, it almost looks like a bolt from this angle, into a little hole that's right next to it. It moves up and down, so as the jigsaw's going up and down, that's obviously attached to the blade. Just needs to go in the right place like an idiot. There we go. So I can see, quick look in there, that's in the wrong place, so lift it up and just slide it down, simple really. There we go, moves up and down easily. So that goes in there, and then it goes into the opposite side on the case. There we go, and it's much easier to close. Right. So you see it's closing now, which is brilliant. Don't force it, because you might have a cable stuck somewhere. I was lucky there and it was a large metal piece, so I'm not going to break that, but you might have a cable stuck somewhere, so don't start screwing this in until you fix that. Right, so I'll get it screwed back together, like a couple of screws in, and we'll give this a test. There's so many screws on this one. Yeah. So because there are so many, I've given up. So get the installation driver out much quicker. So I've got a sticker for this as well. You might notice just where my left hand is there. The person I got this from, they always remove their stickers. They say it's to avoid any warranties that exist on them. It's quite annoying, so I always have to buy new ones. But they're only £1 or £2 for the stickers. They don't come with serial numbers or anything, which is the difference. So just checking that's all in. The connector I said was flopping around is in the right place, which is good. And you can see it still works, which is brilliant. So I didn't break anything. It is in the lowest speed there, that's why it was going so slow. But yeah, it works perfectly well. So that's the frame changed. Now there's a couple of just a little bits really to finish this off. So it's looking much better already. Still something massive missing off the bottom, of course. The big shoe. But yeah, quick tidy up here, trying to get all that grease off, because if I keep putting this new looking tool on grease, it's you know, going to make it dirty, isn't it? Doing this to make it look nice. So what we'll do, we'll go for the sticker now, so I'll give that a good clean up, dry it off as well, get some normal blue roll out. we go. Grab one of these. I've got a couple, so I've got 2 of these jigsaws. So grab one of these, get this on. I always struggle, I don't know about you lot, but I struggle to get these stickers in the right places perfectly. I always go at an angle. It's not too bad, that'll do. So we've got some bubbles in it. These are mine, so you know it's not a problem. I'm not selling these or anything. They're just going to be ones that I'll be using. Right, so the next challenge is going to be this shoe. I'll put this little cover on at the end, but I'm just going to double checking again that it does go there. So no instructions for this, so we just got to work out how it goes. You can see that there's like a metal peg at the back that fits in there, so we can see it obviously goes like that. But it's how it connects is the bit that's not so obvious at this point. There is obviously a hole for a big screw. Look on the diagram again, I've got a few parts that are just all over the place really. It doesn't really explain how it goes in there. I think luckily I ordered some of the right pieces. I've got a load that are not the right pieces. But I've got a few bolts and I've got a little metal plate. So a little bit of thinking here, brain time. I have got some springs as well that I haven't put anywhere, so who knows. But I've got some spare bits. So these are the 2 things that must put this together somehow. So I'll try a couple of different ways, just think about this. Try and get it logically in my head how this would work. So that doesn't quite really fit smoothly there. There's a lip on the top and it's the wrong shape, so it's not going to be this way. And how could it be really? Wouldn't go in there, would it? So we'll try the other way. So we have it in there, the shapes sort of align to each other like that, and the bolt can then go through the middle into the jigsaw. So this is the way I'm going. It does seem to work, so hopefully this is right. Please let me know as well if I've done this wrong, but it certainly works for what I need it to do. So get the right screwdriver. There we go. So try and get this connected. It's at a funny angle as well, so it's a little bit, everything's fiddly on this thing. There we go. So I'll get it started, and I can then line that peg up at the back, get it on the 0. And we'll get this secured. It's a shame that when they snapped it, actually, they didn't give me this bit, because surely this would have been in piece, but you never know what happened. So that's looks good as new really. That's solid. So we get this little cover on. Just clips in really. It's quite close, not sure if I like that really, if there's a blade in there, but we'll see. I'll give it a trial. There's also this little dust hose out the back to plug into a dust extractor. It seemed really tight, but these are all sort of genuine parts, so it must be as it's supposed to be. But yeah, that's it. Back to normal life. It looks good. Thank you for watching that. Sorry it was such a long one. We made it through and it works, so thank you.